Printing a linked list in a reverse order is a very fundamental concept and it is asked in a lot of coding interviews. You are given a head of a linked list and you need to print its elements in a reverse order without modifying the actual list. This problem is also available on HackerRank. If you are here for a quick solution and just want to see the code, refer to the link in the description below to my GitHub profile. However, if you want to see how I came up with that solution, stick with me a little longer. Hello friends, welcome back to Study Algorithms, a place where I make algorithms fun and easy to learn. First, I will describe you the problem statement and show you a sample test case. Next, I will show you how you can print the list in a reverse order using a stack data structure. Going forward, we will see how you can achieve the same result using a recursion based algorithmic paradigm, all along with a dry run of the code. Without further ado, let's get started. Before starting, if you're new to linked lists, I would highly recommend you to go over my introductory video on linked lists. Let us try to understand this problem statement first. It is pretty straightforward actually. You are given a linked list with a head pointer and you have to print this list in a reverse order. So the list is given as 4, 8, 15 and 16. The last element of this list is 16 and hence when you will print out this list, the output should come as 16, 15, 8 and then 4. At first, it may seem pretty trivial. You can just store all of these elements somewhere and then just print it out in a reverse order. But how can you do this thing efficiently? Let us look at a solution that uses the stack data structure to achieve this result. A stack is a data structure that works on the last in first out principle. If you want to know more about stacks, just click on the top right corner of your screen. How do you approach this problem? You have to print this list in a reverse order, right? If you usually start to traverse this list, how do you go? You start from 4, 8, 15 and then 16, right? But this time you have to go in a reverse direction. And the element that came at the last 16 has to be the first one to be printed out, right? So this should give you some kind of an hint. You can use a stack data structure that uses the last in first out policy. So how would that work? Let us say I'm taking up a stack. So now this is my value stack in which I would be storing all of the elements as I traverse. I start off with the first position, that is the head. I see the element 4. So I push this element 4 into my stack. Next I see the element 8. Then I push the element 8 into my stack. Next I see the element 15. So I will push 15 and then eventually 16. As soon as I reach null, I will stop. Now look at your stack. You have pushed all the items, right? What happens if you try to pop the items now? As soon as you pop the first item, you will get the value 16, correct? And 16 is removed from the stack. The next element that you pop is 15 and 15 will be removed from the stack. The next element is 8 and then 4. And eventually your stack will be empty. So this way you can use a stack data structure to eventually print out the linked list in a reverse order. How does that look in a code? Let me show you that now. On the left, you have the actual code to print the list in a reverse order using a stack. And on the right, I am taking a sample linked list that we just discussed above. So what I do is I pass in my head as an input parameter to the stack. In my next step, I will create an integer stack. This will contain all of my values in the linked list. So this is my stack. Going forward, what I will do is I will add all of these elements to the stack. To add the elements, I just traverse the linked list in a forward order. So I start from the head and I push the value of the head in my stack. And then I will do a head dot next. So now I am pointing at my next node in my linked list. This loop will run again and it will push the value 8 this time. It again does a next and goes to the next value 15. It pushes 15 into the stack and then eventually it pushes 16. It reaches a null and then it stops. So far, your stack has now been completed. As a final step, what we do is we actually print out the elements from the stack. And to do that, we will pop each element until the stack is empty. So what I do is I run a while loop and print all of the elements while doing a pop operation. So when I would be printing out the stack, I would get the first element as 16, then I would get 15, then I would get 8, and then I would get 4. So you see, we were able to successfully print a linked list in reverse order using a stack data structure. But this code may seem a little long to you, and you may feel that is there a shorter way to achieve the same result? Yes, and you can do that using the recursion based algorithmic paradigm. To print the list using recursion, you must first understand how recursion actually works. Recursion usually works in a pattern that is self repeating. In a linked list, you can see that you have a same pattern that repeats. There is a head and then there is a next node. No matter which node you start at, there is a node and then a next. There is a node and then a next. You can take advantage of it. The general idea of recursion is you invoke their initial function and then you invoke the same function with the next value. Going ahead, you invoke the same function with the next value. You keep on doing this until and unless you reach a terminating condition. That means you don't want to repeat the process after that. In this case, your terminating condition is the null statement. So as soon as you reach null, you can start to go back. Once you start to go back, you can print the value and go to your previous node. You can print this value and again go to your previous node. You can print this value and again go back to your initial node. So this is how the list can be printed using recursion. What will happen in this case is you invoke the function from 4, then 8, then 15, and then 16. Once you reach null, you can start to iterate backwards. So your list would be printed as 16, 15, 8, and then ultimately 4. I know this could be a little bit confusing for you. So let us try to look at the code quickly. Yes, that is all the code you need to print the list in reverse order using recursion. What do you do over here? On the right, you have a sample list in which your head is pointing at 4, right? So this will be passed in as an input parameter to the function reverse print using recursion. Let us now move step by step. You remember we need a terminating condition to end our recursion, otherwise it will just keep on happening infinitely, right? So what I do is I check if my next of the head is null. The next of 4 is 8. It is not null. Hence, I will not do anything and I will not return. Going ahead, I make a recursive call and I call the same function using head.next. So this time, instead of passing the original head, I will pass in my new head. So this time, head points at 8. The loop will start again. It sees, is the next null? No. And hence, I will again make a recursive call. I call the function again with the next value. So this time, the head is passed as 15. The function is invoked again. The next is not yet null. So I will again make a recursive call using the next value. So this time I make a call using the value 16 as my head. Let us see what happens now when I go through the code. I check if my head.next equals to null. You can see the next of 16 is null, right? So this time the return function would be invoked. And when your function will return, it will return from the call when the value of head was at 16, right? So this time the print statement is invoked and hence 16 is printed on the screen. What happens next is all of your recursive invocations are now returned. So before 16, how did you invoke the function? You invoked it with 15, right? So this time 15 would be printed on the screen. Going ahead, you remember it got invoked with 8. So this time 8 would be printed on the screen. Once more, it will eventually return and it will go on to the original value that you called the function with. That was the original head and that is pointing at 4. So you see, this way we are able to print the list using a recursion based algorithmic paradigm. The time complexity of this solution is order of n. That is because we are traversing through the entire list, and the space complexity is also order of n. You don't see any new data structure that we create in the code, right? But internally in your computer memory, you will have a recursion stack where you will store all of the calls of your function. So initially it is called with element 4, then 8, then 15, and then ultimately 16. So this takes up your computer memory and a order of n space. I hope I was able to simplify the problem and its solution for you. As per my final thoughts, take a moment to think about the solutions that we just discussed. Notice that in both the solutions, we never modify the existing list. Because if you make changes to your original list, then the order in which the elements have been added could get disturbed. So, this will change your original list entirely. And that is not what we want. In your interviews also, it is a good idea to tell the interviewer that you're not modifying the original list in any way, and at the same time you're achieving the desired result. What other method did you try to solve this problem? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I would love to discuss all of them with you. You would be also glad to know that a text-based explanation to this problem is available on the website studyalgorithms.com. I am including a link in the description below in case you want to check it out. As a reminder, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This motivates me to make more and more such videos where I can simplify programming concepts for you. Also let me know what problem do you want me to solve next. Until then, see ya.